The scout watched the enemy hunting party from a dry hill overlooking the city. The prey tread the ground with 2 legs, unlike his own 4. A herd, 15 in number and armed. Internally, he felt his blood course through his body. It was hot, as warm as the air. He could feel the violent excitement increase as each Visek passed. Usually his kind stalk prey alone on his home planet. As a star hunter, the scout traversed the empty waters with other hunters, securing further land for Shrikar. This organized pack is far superior for the predation of the Sky Ocean's various prey. Many utilize herd behavior for protection, but do not understand the abject terror a single hunter can create. The confusion scatters the herd, the pack picks up prey one by one. The planet the star hunters landed upon had a population of herd-like bipeds. These creatures were thin, weak, and easily spooked. Countless skycraft dropped the hunters within the prey's population centers. The sport was intense, endless trophies to claim. For 30 light cycles, they predated on the blue ball they discovered. Sporadic lightning fire reported in the urban area. A young hunter caught a ray of the planet's sun, his armor producing a visible shine. The herd bore the Shikari down with haste. A flurry of sparks began to dent his armor, eventually penetrating. The bellow of his fallen brother echoed from building to building. The hunt is dangerous, but all Shikari continue the hunt after death. The scout bowed his head in reverence. May the young one find glory in heavenly trophies. A member of the herd brought his foreleg to the sky, pointing it ahead and swinging it from left to right. The herd spread out, their weapons aimed in all directions. The patriarch, the scout thought. If the leader of the herd is killed, could the confusion provide a trophy? One by one, the herd would fall. The scout reported the prey positions for his wave talker. Pings on his helmet signified the other hunter's acknowledgement. The outline of the Shikari appeared through the constructions in his helmet's view, trotting towards the herd. The prey were outnumbered, surrounded. The scout was equipped with tracker bolts. With a laser, he could direct the projectile with extreme accuracy from his battleware. All he needed was the perfect moment for the patriarch to be in eyesight. His spine shivered underneath his armor, his vision tunneling onto the last known position of their leader. A member of the herd shouted. The lightning fire erupted once more from their weapons. Impacts appeared near the highlighted Shikari. Most were behind cover. The patriarch directed the herd back. Their weapons shot with rapid succession, the prey retreating. Dust from the projectiles prevented the hunter's advance. The patriarch appeared into full view, pausing in movement to fire. The tracker bolt was thrown from his armor, the recoil absorbed through a low crouch. The scout kept his vision locked onto the patriarch. It produced a hot blur through the air, his whistle losing volume as it sped to the target. An airburst, the bolt releasing its payload onto the leader. Smaller projectiles dug themselves deep into the prey. Its life water, dark red, splattered behind the patriarch. It collapsed onto the stone underneath him. The rest of the pack began a full sprint to the herd. The prey's accuracy began to dwindle. A single member was thrown upon the ground from a Shikari, her maw clamped tightly on its neck. With a forced twist of her head, the trophy was removed from the body. The life water ran freely. The scout produced loud chirps in victory. His body shook from left to right, rolling his shoulders and hips in a ritualistic dance. A member of the herd released his own cry of rage. He let his weapon fall to the side, hung by a simple strap. He reached for an object on the front of his armor. With a sprint to the Shikari, he drew his blade into her maw, lifting the hunter into the air. One foreleg was used to direct the ranged weapon into her unarmored belly. Reports echoed as the prey emptied the weapon's projectiles into her. He tossed her aside with the knife embedded in her jaw, her body jerking in death throes upon the ground. The members of the herd followed suit. With others firing their weapons, the prey mounted the blades onto their armaments. One prepared his spear-like contraption by tucking the weapon's rear under his foreleg. A Shikari pounced on the prey, catching the blade between the joints of his shined armor. The biped forced him to the ground, twisting his weapon to finalize the hunter's death. The scout let out a whine, pacing side to side. The prey became the predator, pushing the Shikari back. The bipeds were violent, ripping through the pack. Weapon fire rang out. The pack was quick to attack, emerging from their concealment in droves. Sparks plinked off their armor as projectiles reached their destinations. Blades were dug deep into weak points. Loud whines and screams filled the air. Two of the prey warriors took hold of their fallen members by the torso armor, dragging their lifeless bodies in retreat. His vision focused on a single prey warrior in the distance. It brought a large tube to its shoulder, seemingly aiming the device at the scout's position. Afraid, the scout began to turn around. He heard the roar of lightning before losing all senses. Corporal McKinley stood in a ready position. His breath was hot, his heart racing. Bodies of the gored enemy surrounded the members of his team. He felt the wetness of blood on his equipment, unknowing if it was his own or the large feline-like aliens around him. In a second of respite, he felt his bayonet sheath with his offhand. Empty. "Who's up?" he shouted. "Gabriel, up! Craigston, up!" A pause. "We lost the LT and Dolan, Corporal." McKinley spun around. The rest of his squad was alive, many locked or visibly shivering. His own fire team survived the encounter. "What's their condition?" The Marines stared at him, their mouths agape in exhaustion. A repetitive metal clang echoed through the quiet. Bolts ran home as fresh magazines were inserted. He looked to the ground towards an alleyway. Dolan's head was removed completely from his neck, his blood dragged along the street to his resting place. Lieutenant Amir was lifeless. Fabric from his plate carrier appeared shredded on the front, small holes oozing blood on his face and arms. The corpsman was checking Amir's pulse, shaking his head. McKinley dropped his rifle, letting it hang on its sling off his chest. He leaned over and vomited. "Pull security!" he shouted between coughs. He once again readied his weapon, using his offhand to wipe the bile from his mouth. McKinley was covered in a blue-like liquid, staining his desert uniform. He felt no injuries, but the constant stream of adrenaline through his engagement deadened any pain he would have felt. McKinley reached to his radio mounted to his shoulder, keying in. "This is Golf 2-1. Golf 2-2, how copy?" Silence. The corporal's radio crackled, its small display lighting up. "Golf 2-1, this is Golf 2-2. We've had contact, no casualties, over." The team simultaneously released a sigh of relief. They were spread out, using the corners of the buildings as cover. The Marines watched key points, alleyways and open roads. "Golf 2-2, we lost 2, KIA. We'll need a medevac to get them out. Break." McKinley swallowed, holding the transmit button. "Bayonets are effective. Our M4s can't get through them. Take the fight as close as you can. Over." A pause, a soft hum of the radio breaking the quiet. "Solid copy, Golf 2-1. Valence of action, out."